Welcome to the 9th podcast for Ozball Villains. This edition will be going over the Asian 2026 World Cup qualifiers that just happened this week and last week. We'll also continue to go over the A-League, nearing towards the end of the season, gameweek 21 and I think a bit of 20 as well. It was a few weeks ago now. We'll then head stateside to Victoria, where we will go through a couple of the early rounds for the NPL as well as the VPL and the preliminary rounds of the Australia Cup. And then we will finish off with some of the Asian leagues and the intercontinental tournaments, Champions League and AFC Cup. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start talking about the World Cup qualifiers. Two big rounds this week and last week on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, our time, Thursday night, Friday morning last week. We'll start in chronological order. The first match was Taiwan versus Kyrgyzstan. Now I thought, I was going to call them Chinese Taipei, which I'll just call them Taiwan. Actually had a chance here when there was a red card to Kyrgyzstan in the 24th minute. Unfortunately, they couldn't get a result. Two second half goals from Kyrgyzstan, giving them a 2-0 away win. I mean, it was expected that they would win, but with that red card, I thought maybe Taiwan could have snuck in for a draw there. But it wasn't to be, so Kyrgyzstan get the win there. Next game was Pakistan 0, Jordan 3. It was always going to be a Jordanian win. They scored 2 goals early as well. In the 10th minute, they're already 2-0 up. Tamari misses a penalty, then scores 4 minutes later. Easy and expected win for Jordan there, dominating the stats. Australia, Lebanon, Sydney, Combank. I was tempted to go down to Sydney and Canberra last week for the matches. Obviously, it didn't end up happening. Australia 2-0, Bacchus early goal, cross comes shot, finding the back post and in. A couple of injuries as well. McGree and Boss, the sub being a sub. Second half, Kaya Rolls scoring a decent, well taken shot. Not the best performance by Australia. Again, expected to win, expected clean sheet. Lebanon had a couple little plays there, but overall not an amazing match that won't live long in the memories, but we get the points. Not too much to say about that, especially considering we're going to play them a few days later as well, which ended up being a much better result and performance. Japan 1, North Korea 0. Second minute goal by Tanaka. Nothing else after that. It's a bit of a surprise. I mean, North Korea pre-COVID actually weren't not a powerhouse of Asia, but not one of the smaller teams, despite what goes on in that country. So I didn't expect a 10-0 thrashing as if it was Myanmar, like they've done before, but 3 or 4 maybe. And especially considering North Korea have barely played since COVID. They've only played a couple of matches since then. 1-0 though, Japan get the job done. Next match, South Korea 1, Thailand 1. First little surprise so far. Son scoring late in the first half. Moenta scoring 61st minute. So 1-1. Good result for Thailand, especially away from home. That's definitely a surprise. Stats looks like South Korea dominated that, but a very good result for Thailand. That would have given them confidence going into the next tie in Thailand at home. Myanmar 1, Syria 1. Also a very good result for Myanmar. Again, considering what's going on in that country. Kior scoring in the 35th minute. Al-Dali latest second half strike to make it 1-1. Similar to the Thai result. I mean, they were at home, Myanmar, but I think there's a bigger gap difference between these two teams. So, great result for Myanmar. They should be very happy with that. Hong Kong 0, Uzbekistan 2. Expected result there. Shmorodov scoring and Ashumatov 2 second half goals to beat the lowly Hong Kong side. Uzbekistan expected to make it out of this group for sure. Singapore 2, China 2. Very disappointing result by China there. Not a massive upset. Still expected China to win, especially being 2-0 up. Wu Lei scoring twice and missing a penalty in between, which, well, I guess technically did cost them that match. Anyway, Singapore scoring in the 53rd and the 81st minutes. Ramli and Mala. So, good result for Singapore. Indonesia 1, Vietnam 1. That one, bit of a surprise. I mean, I don't know what's up with Vietnam lately. They, again, not a powerhouse of Asia, but they were really up and coming. Big population, great football fans. They've been there. They're very passionate for whenever their national team is playing. They're in the streets. They're watching. They're parading down the streets with every win. But just lately, Asian Cup-wise, World Cup qualifier-wise, the last year or so, they've just really fallen off. So I don't know what's going on there, especially against the rival in Indonesia. It's a disappointing result by them. Vikri scoring 52nd minute. Winner for Indonesia. Iran 5, Turkmenistan 0. That is an expected result. 2 early goals in the first half, and then a couple more in the second half, and a late strike in the 92nd minute to make it 5-0. I think everyone expected that. UAE 2, Yemen 1. Also a comfortable win. Actually, not so comfortable win. It should have been a comfortable win, sorry, for the UAE Emiratis. 1-0, Saleh penalty. Bit of a nervy, 3 minutes, I guess. Own goal, 69th minute, and then a 72nd minute winner. But they got the job done there, the UAE. Oman 2, Malaysia 0. Expect a result. I would have thought Malaysia maybe with a bit of a reincarnation since that Asian Cup, especially that last game. But no, couldn't take in the form from that, and they lose 2-0 away to Oman. 2 second half goals for the Omanis there. Qatar 3, Kuwait 0. Qatar continuing on their form from the Asian Cup. Afif again, 2 goals, just banging them in lately. Comfortable win against Kuwait. Again, expected result there. The other match in our group, the Australia group, Palestine 5, Bangladesh 0. I definitely expect a result. 2 late first half goals, 2 early second half goals are wrapping up the match. Dabag hat-trick, Kumbo 2 goals. Comfortable win for the Palestinians. Saudi Arabia 1, Tajikistan 0. Not bad by Tajikistan. Expected to be not thrashed, but in the vicinity of 2 or 3 goals at least. So well done for putting up a fight. Obviously didn't get the win. And it looked quite even in terms of stats as well. So I think a very good performance by Tajikistan. Nepal 0, Bahrain 5. Expect a result. Nepal probably one of the weaker sides in this group stage. 2-0 in the 10th minute. And then 2 more late goals to make it 5-0 away from home. And the final match for this round, Iraq 1, the Philippines 0. So a bit of a surprise, and especially considering a late goal by Ali, 84th minute. Again, expecting to be a 3 or 4-0 win. Philippines, not bad. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on for the last 10 minutes, despite not having a shot on goal. 85% possession. It's one of the bigger ones you'll see. On to the next. Is this the next round? No, sorry, there's a couple more games. I'm not sure why. That one, yeah. Last one, sorry. Good result there. Afghanistan 0, India 0. Very, very good results. I would have expected India. Again, India not a powerhouse, but Afghanistan not even playing at home, considering what's going on. I think they've got all their players back there. I think the first 2 matches, or at least the first match, they're playing their 3rd string side. Seems to be the full strength side now. 0-0 against India. They'd be happy with that. They'd be very happy with that. Next round now, sorry. So again, Lebanon versus Australia. Obviously, all these matches now are the reverse ties, except for North Korea and Japan, which got cancelled. North Korea cancelled the match. I think they were scared of the Japanese players and staff, and even I don't know if fans were allowed, bringing some virus that's spreading there right now. I'm not going to get too much into epidemiology here, but obviously I think it was an excuse. Maybe there's something going on in North Korea. They didn't want Japan there. Game cancelled. I'm not sure when they're playing that. I think that was expected to be their first home match. So I think they played their first 2 qualifiers away from home, North Korea. And they've got some home matches coming up in... Well, they have to, actually. Their last 3 matches all have to be home, because all their first 3 were away. So... And that's in June, so I'm not sure if they're going to be ready. They may be banned again, who knows, and 3 points awarded to everyone else. Anyway, we'll find out. Australia 5-0 against Lebanon in Canberra, our away game. Cassini Yengi scoring, own goal, Girardi, then Goodwin, Iredale scoring his first goal, and Goodwin again. Goodwin was involved, I think, in pretty much every goal, if I remember correctly. Well, except the 4th one. He assisted that Yengi one. He crossed it in for that own goal, which sort of bounced off the keeper into the own goal player. So it's sort of a semi-assist there. Then he scores. Nothing there, and then scoring again. So 4 out of the 5 goals involved in. A superstar player needs to be in the side. Better performance, better game, better results. So well done to Australia. Dominating that match. Bangladesh 0, Palestine 1. I was watching this game, just the live scores on the app, hoping for a 0-0. Nothing against Palestine, but just I love to see upsets. And they almost did it until the 94th minute. 10-man Palestinian side making it. Mahajna getting a red card, and then Termanini scoring. Late scenes there for the Palestinians. That should put them through to the next round. I'll do the table after this. Unlucky for Bangladesh there. Philippines 0, Iraq 5. So they turned it on only after a 1-0 win at home. They end up winning 5-0 away. Pretty much over in the first half, 3-0, again expected. I would have thought the Philippines would have had a bit of a chance considering what happened in the first game. Only 1-0 away loss, 84th minute, so disappointing for the Philippines there. Again, as I was mentioning, Vietnam 0, Indonesia 3. Crazy. 3-0 away from home now. Similar to the Iraq one. 1-0 at home, 3-0 away. 2-0 at half time. As I said, I don't know what's going on with Vietnam. A late finisher there to seal the deal for Indonesia. 3-0 away from home. Vietnam, honestly, I don't think they're going to make it now. Looks like it's Indonesia to make it. China bounced back. Big win. 4-1 against Singapore. Still 1-1 at half time until a 65th minute penalty. And down to 10 men, but 2 late goals on the counter-attack, I'm guessing. Gives China something to celebrate. Not much in the last, well, honestly, 5-10 years. So important win for them, strengthening their chance to make it through to the next round. Thailand, disappointing. I wouldn't have expected them to win. Maybe a draw, considering they did it away from home, but you would have expected South Korea to bounce back after that embarrassing 1-1 draw at home. Early goal for Lee Jae-sung. Sonny scoring again, and then a late Park winner, sealer, to make it 3-0 away from home. South Korea pretty much into the next round. We'll do the table soon. Great result, Afghanistan. As I mentioned, 0-0 at home to India was a surprise, but 2-1 away. Incredible. Sunil Chetri scoring as always, penalty. And then a late winner, Akbari, Ramit Akbari, I believe, A-League player, 70th minute. 88th minute penalty winner. Scenes for Afghanistan. Amazing result for the nation. They should be very, very amazed with that. Malaysia 0, Oman 2. Disappointing by Malaysia. 2-0 wins for Oman. Again, expected a bit more from Malaysia at home, but nevertheless, Oman take the win away from home. Kyrgyzstan 5-1 against Taiwan. Kojo hat-trick. He's the hero in the Asian Cup. 3 goals first half. 2 late ones to seal the deal for them. Yeah, expected a result. Kyrgyzstan aren't half bad now, to be honest. And Taiwan, never a powerhouse, smaller nation in Asia. A lot of work to do. Uzbekistan 3-0 against Hong Kong. Shomurodov, boy did they miss him in the Cup, Asian Cup. He scores again. First half, 2 second half goals to make it 3-0 for the Uzbekis. Turkmenistan 0, Iran 1. Bit of a surprise there, considering they won 5-0 at home. I'm not sure if it was a second string side by Iran. No, it seems like a decent side. Taremi up front, Gordos in the midfield. So, better effort by Turkmenistan to turn around a 5-0 to a 1-0. Still a loss, of course, but could have been worse considering how it went in the first match. Tajikistan 1, Saudi Arabia 1 as well. Great result for Tajikistan. So again, only a 1-0 loss at home, was it? And then a late equaliser, 80th minute for Soyrov. Again, not a huge shock. Tajikistan aren't half bad as well. But still, again, they made it to the next round for the first time in the Asian Cup. So they're on a bit of a form run for the last 6 months or so. So awesome result for them. Yemen 0, UAE 3. Game wrapped up by half time. 3-0 for the UAE. Easy win. Syria 7, Myanmar 0. If that's not a statement match, I don't know what is. 1-1 last time. They've gone bang. 1-0 at half time only. I think the red card must have helped. Win getting sent off, which certainly doesn't help. And then they just start the second half on fire. Goals in the 47, 51, 54, missed penalty in 61 and 63 penalty and 68. So destroying them there. 7-0 in the end. Big win. Looks like a dominating. No shots for Myanmar. Looks like a totally one-sided match. Expected with a red card as well and away from home. Kuwait 1, Qatar 2. Again, Qatar firing. No goal from a fifth this time. But Almoez Ali is just as good. 2 late goals, though, in between Kuwait. So 3 goals in 3 minutes. Another win for Uzbekistan. Jordan 7, Pakistan 0. Another thrashing. Expected results, maybe not by 7. I think it was 3-0 away from home. Yeah, I guess 7 almost makes sense. Bahrain 3, Nepal 0. 3-0 by the end of the first half. That was wrapped up for the lowly Nepal. That was it. Let's get into the standings now. So we'll start with Group A, of course. Qatar are already through. 12 points. 4 wins out of 4. Only conceded 2 goals. But the race for second is very, very intriguing. So India, second place, 4 points. Afghanistan, third place, also 4 points with 7 worse goal difference. Then Kuwait in the bottom position with 3 points. I would like to check ahead with the fixtures now. I do believe Afghanistan, since they already played India twice, they're going to be playing Kuwait and Qatar. So to my expectation, I would expect Qatar to win every match. That puts them on 18. The team that doesn't have to play Qatar again is the one who's going to be of an advantage. And I do believe it will be... what's it called? Kuwait. Kuwait probably don't have to play. It is true, yes. So that's why I'm putting it at 18 for Qatar. India and Afghanistan both lose. Then they both will play Kuwait. So that's going to be a very thrilling ending to that group. Kuwait is away to India, at home to Afghanistan. So... well, I mean, whoever you're supporting, you're obviously hoping you get the results against each other. Assuming Qatar beat India and Afghanistan, which they should. Kuwait should be beating them. But, I mean, they haven't done well. Like I said, they beat Afghanistan 4-0, but they lost to India. So I think they'll be more nervous about the India match. And it's away from home. So a draw there would make it very exciting. India will be 5, Kuwait 4. I'm expecting, though, Kuwait should be beating Afghanistan, but you never know. And they'd have the worst goal difference, Afghanistan, so I'm not expecting them to make it. It'd be crazy if they do. Next group, B, as we mentioned, Japan, North Korea hasn't gone ahead yet. If it does, Japan on 9 points. Syria on 7, but with the extra game played. North Korea 3 points, Myanmar 1 point. So, should be Japan and Syria, especially if North Korea do get banned. North Korea, Syria are playing in June. We'll see if that goes ahead in Pyongyang, one of the biggest stadiums in the world, apparently. Expecting Japan and Syria to go through, though, with or without those North Korea matches. Myanmar off that little point, which is nice for them. Maybe they can sneak something against North Korea if that match goes ahead, but we'll see. Group C, South Korea top 10 points, China 7 points, Thailand 4 points, Singapore 1 point. So I would have thought Thailand would have gone through. It's again down to the final fixtures. China are away to South Korea final match. Then they have Thailand. So that's a big match. Thailand will play Singapore on the final day, assuming they win. That'll put them to 7 points, assuming China lose to South Korea. And pretty much same goal difference by that point. So it will come down to that China-Thailand match. A draw might be enough for Thailand if they get a big win against Singapore. And actually it probably would be a bigger win and a China lose to South Korea by a couple of goals. So China, it's in China though, so it makes it a very close match. My money might be on Thailand. Even with the draw, I think that should be enough to get through. Unless South Korea do play a weaker side in the final match and China do get a point, but they are a bit of a rivalry, so I think they will not let the Chinese win in Korea. Group D, now that's a good one. Kyrgyzstan top 9 points, Oman 9 points, Malaysia 6 points, Taiwan 0 points. So again, whoever's playing, Chinese Taipei as they call it, that'll be Oman and Malaysia. So I'm almost tempted to give Oman and Malaysia 3 points each. That'll put them on 12 and 9 respectively. That is going to be very tight. And Kyrgyzstan obviously have to play Malaysia and Oman as well. So it's just a battle of those three. Whoever can get most points. Kyrgyzstan and Oman have the goal difference. Malaysia don't have the form or the goal difference either. So I think Oman's safely through. I'm actually going to say it's between Kyrgyzstan and Malaysia, almost depending on where they're playing. It's in Kyrgyzstan. So I think I'll give it to Kyrgyzstan, but who knows? A draw might be enough, again, with the superior goal difference. Group E, we have Iran, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Hong Kong. Iran 10 points, Uzbekistan 10 points, Turkmenistan and Hong Kong 1 and 1. That one is done and dusted, so nothing too much to talk about. Again, very much expect the results. Battle now is just who's for top spot and who's for bottom spot, just for interest. I won't go into that too much. Group F, Iraq 12 points, Indonesia 7 points, Vietnam 3 points, Philippines 1 point. Still can't believe that. Indonesia, and they drew with the Philippines, so they could have been flying right now for those double win against Vietnam. Let's see the fixtures now for that, because it's almost over for Vietnam. So Vietnam's playing the Philippines, so you expect them to win and Indonesia to lose to Iraq, just to make it exciting for the final match day, because then it'll be 7 points and 6 points. Final match day, Philippines. Sorry, not Philippines. Am I doing Vietnam? Vietnam play Iraq away from home, and Indonesia have the Philippines. So Vietnam need a bit of a miracle here. They need to get 2 results and hope Indonesia basically get nothing. And they might have more superior goal difference by then, but right now it's inferior by 3. That's going to be interesting. Group G, Saudi Arabia 10, Jordan 7, Tajikistan 5, Pakistan 0. So again, we look up Pakistan because they are the key factor here. Sorry to say, everyone's going to get points off you guys. Saudi Arabia play them first, so that's pretty much them in. And Tajikistan have them. So that puts Tajikistan on 8. Jordan on 7, assuming they lose to Saudi Arabia. So then it comes down to that match of Tajikistan versus Jordan. It's in Jordan. It's the first one as well. A draw, honestly, almost might be enough. You never know. Jordan might get some points against Saudi Arabia on a final match day who have already qualified. That's going to be a good one. Group H, UAE 12 points, Bahrain 9 points, Yemen 3, Nepal 0. That's pretty much done and dusted. I can't see Yemen making up 6 points and 12 goal difference. I'm assuming they will have a Nepal match. That's the last one, so maybe already done and dusted when they play Bahrain. If they can win, though, against Bahrain, that'll make it 9 and 6. And then Bahrain lose to UAE in the final match, and Yemen assumingly beat Nepal. They beat them 2-0 away from home. 12 goal difference swing over 4 matches, though. That's an average of 3 goals a match. Not crazy. They beat Bahrain probably by 1 goal. That brings it down to 10. Then I need a 5-goal swing. They beat Nepal 5-0 and Bahrain lose to UAE 5-0. I can't see it happening. So they probably need to score as many as they can against Bahrain, but I think their first goal is to win. And finally, Group I, Australia. Group Australia 12. No losses, no goals conceded. Already in. Palestine 7, Lebanon 2, Bangladesh 1. So that's pretty much done for the Palestinians as well. Palestine are playing Lebanon. So unless they lose that match, which would make it 7 and 5, and then Lebanon beat Bangladesh and we beat Palestine. So maybe that match is in Palestine, so I would be expecting them to win. But there have been a few little mixed results there. I mean, they drew 0-0 the first time. Lebanon, though, that draw against Bangladesh, you'd expected them to win. I don't know. I mean, they could have got to 4 points, then still with the goal difference, it would have affected them. Anyway, we'll see. But expected to be Palestine. But we'll find out in June. I'll do another one maybe before then for sort of a little preview about that. But it's still 2.5 months away. I'm intrigued to see what happens with the North Korea-Japan match as well, even though that group is pretty much done. I still want to know what happens there. Anyway, that's it for the World Cup qualifiers for now. Okay, let's talk about the A-League. A couple of these matches were a while ago now, 3 weeks actually, so I won't go into too much detail for 20 and 21 with a catch-up game as well in between. So, way back from the 8th of March, Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Western United 3. All the goals coming in the second half there. Milanovic scoring first, a brilliantly well-taken finish. Then Grimaldi, Pena and Rukavica, 3 late second half goals, giving Western United the win. So Wanderers not in some great form, are they, recently? And Western United actually a bit of good form, pushing themselves pretty much off the bottom of the table, which we'll check out at the end of these matches. So a good win for Western United away from home. Melbourne City 1, Wellington Phoenix 0. Big win for the City boys there. Phoenix top of the table, disappointing result there. That would have been a bigger match if City were up higher, but still a big win, putting City back into finals contention as expected, and almost higher than that if they keep going. Supriyan scoring in the 58th minute, Arslan assist. Welcome back to him, one of the better players in the league. So a good game. Adelaide United 1, Melbourne victory 2. Bruno Fornaroli scoring. Iran Kunda scoring in the second half, and then Fornaroli penalty 57th minute. 2-1 away win in the original rivalry. Great win there for victory. Adelaide in honestly not great form this season, but still a big win. Going to Coopers is always a tougher match behind Marsh, but big win for victory there. Perth Glory 2, Newcastle Jets 2. Another high-scoring affair on a Saturday night at HBF Park, as we've come to expect. Charlie Taylor scoring, Mirages as well, and then 2, as always, as expected. Again, late goals, Taggart, 72nd and 90th minute. Classic. Who would not have thought that? It seems to always happen down there in Perth, in the Wild West. You'd love to be there just watching that every second week on a Saturday night. Not always the result that Perth want, especially with their poor away form, but 2-2 against the Jets. Sydney FC 1, Brisbane Roar 1. Red card to Gerwood Reich. Still managing to score through Mac, but then a Henry Hall cancelling it out. 1-1 there. A bit of a surprise with 10 men. It does make sense. Sydney FC still played well with 10 men, despite the low possession. 1-1. Macarthur FC 0, Central Coast Mariners 3. Nisbet scoring early. Ronald Barcelos and Torres missing a penalty. Edmondson scoring, the Englishman. 3-0 away from home. Big win for the Mariners against Macarthur, especially with the Phoenix loss that week, putting them on top of the table, I believe, at that time. Midweek catch-up match. Melbourne City 7, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. Unbelievable. 4-0 at half-time. Kept it going latish as well. Arslan, Neon Natal, Caputo, Reish, McLaren, and Antonis with an absolute banger from halfway. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm sure you have by now. 7-0 thrashing. Dominating that. Rudin not facing up to the press conference. Cowered it out. It's probably the other controversy after the match, but 7-0. Western United 2, Melbourne Victory 2. I was here. Daniel Pena scoring early. Ruse missing a penalty. Great save, Izzo. Falami and Economides looking like he did the winner, but then a late Garuccio strike cancelling it out. 2-2, Amy Park. That was on a, Thursday night. Disappointing result for Victory. Again, Western United continuing their somewhat regain in form. Newcastle Jets 0, Adelaide United 1. Finally winning the Adelaide United. Finally getting a clean sheet. Late goal by Jovanovic. Jets, disappointing all season. To Adelaide 2, but at least they got the win there. Wellington Phoenix 2, Sydney FC 1. Big match, that one. Big match. Sydney FC coming up, even though they're not direct competitors at the top, like the Mariners are. Sort of like that City match. A bigger team coming up. But this time they got the win. Own goal by Matthews. Costa Barbarousse scoring. Oh, Max scored first, sorry. And Barbarousse scoring 70th minute to win the match. Costa again against his old side. 2-1 win. Awesome result for the Phoenix. Brisbane Roar 1, Macarthur FC 2. Berenguer scoring early. Then Uscock and Borges Rodriguez all within the first half. Good away win for Macarthur FC there. Not the best game though. Perth Glory 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 2. Big important win for the Wanderers, bouncing back after that embarrassing 7-0 away loss to City. Borrello scoring, Taggart scoring again, and then a late Lockie Brook winner. Down in Perth again. I would have expected a late Perth equaliser, but it didn't happen this time, maybe because the game was a bit earlier than normal. And that was it. So let's get into the standings now. Only 4 or 5 matches left. Wellington Phoenix on top, 43 points. Central Coast Mariners 40 points, but with a game in hand. Goal difference doesn't come into play yet unless they have the same amount of victories, which they actually do, but for the Mariners to get to 43, they're going to need another win unless they get 3 draws and Phoenix get a few losses. So probably advantage Mariners just, but will depend on the run home and obviously the last 4 or 5 matches. That's the top 2 pretty much sewn up. I can't see them getting kicked out because Macarthur and Victory, who are next, are on 35 points. So a good 5-point difference between the Mariners, but again, a game in hand. So in theory, it's almost 8 points. So it's very, very difficult for them to get kicked out. So we're looking at a Phoenix or Mariners, as I said, premiers, as well as potentially grand final hosts. Of course, if they make it, the final series after that in May. Still a long way to go though. Won't skip ahead that far yet. Sydney FC 5th place, 31 points, same as the Wanderers, but they have a game in hand to catch up on 3rd and 4th to get a home final. And City just behind them in 7th place on 29 points, also with a game in hand. So it's pretty much those 3 going for 2 spots. I think Macarthur and Victory are in the finals. They may slip down to 5th or 6th with a bad run, but they probably won't get knocked out of the finals. You never know though. As I said, technically if City win, it's almost only 3 or 4 points out of the finals. So anything can happen in this league. 8th place, Brisbane Roar, 26 points. Adelaide United, 9th place, 22 points. Perth Glory, 10th, 21 points. Newcastle Jets, 11th, 20 points. And Western United, 19 points, bottom place. Race for the wooden spoon, though, is actually very, very tight. I think Adelaide United shouldn't get it. I'm probably going to put it down to the bottom 3 sides. And in theory, it's probably going to... Well, Newcastle Jets, poor form. Western United, last 4 matches have not lost. So they're in a bit of form as well. It all depends on the run home, but it could be the Jets again. So... let's have a look at some other little stats. Home form. Phoenix only 1 loss at home, so very, very strong at home. 18 goals only, though. 23 points from their home matches and a game in hand. Away matches, Perth at the bottom, but at least they got a win this time. Victory only 1 loss away from home. Now we'll look at the form tab, which is very important now. I'm going to do the last 10. Doesn't exactly mirror the tab, especially with Western United up in 6th place, Victory down in 8th, Wanderers down in 9th. Mariners in form as expected. Yeah, I'm expecting Mariners to win the Premier's Plate, to be honest. They're in form for the whole season, apart from the last 25 matches, which is the whole matches. Top scorers. Taggart and Fornaroli both on 15, Stamatopoulos 14. So I think it's down to those 3 now. I think I said in the last podcast it was going to be down to maybe almost 5 or 6 players, but Germain hasn't scored in a couple of games. Costa did score 1. Torres hasn't scored in a while, so they're all out. I mean, maybe Germain, if he can bang in another little sneaky hat-trick like he did, I think it was against the Wanderers in that 4-3 win. But it's probably the top 3. Taggart and Fornaroli playing each other actually this Sunday at Amy Park, 3 p.m, which I should be there for. That could determine it if someone can break away with a couple of goals. Still, again, 5 matches left. Almost expected to make it to 20. 20 would be a nice number to reach. If it's a draw, I can't remember if they give it to both or is it whoever took less penalties. I think then Bruno would be out because he has taken a few penalty goals. So was Stamatopoulos. Taggart maybe not as many if I can remember. Probably most outfield goals. Anyway, we'll find out. Goal contributions. Who has the most assists? It's Arslan and Lolly. Both on 8 goals, 6 assists. That's 14 contributions. Still not quite as high as 18 for Taggart. Halloran has 6 assists as well, but fewer goals. 7, there we go. It's Nisbet, 7 assists. Brilliant. I should be able to sort by assists. I'm sure I can on the A-League's homepage. Nevertheless, that's it. So, yeah, exciting times now for the A-League. A game this weekend, of course, and then 4 or 5 left after that. So, it's going to be tight. I'm going to say Mariners on top and Phoenix second. I'm going to say Victory MacArthur. Honestly, I almost can see City and Sydney and their form sort of almost catching up to those two. So it's going to be an amazingly close finish. There is a Melbourne derby coming up in, not this week, the next. So that could determine the 4th place. As for finals, I think Wanderers are going to miss out now because of the form. And I think City and Sydney sneak in. And then as for the bottom, yeah, I'm going to say Jets. I won't do a run home yet. Maybe the next one with the last 3 matches. And I will do a next week preview when I do my fantasy and tipping competition in the next segment. So we will go through who's playing next week and predictions, which I think we should move on to now. Alright, fantasy, for those who are still playing by now, well done to you. It's been a long slog and it's not the most exciting of games. The league is fun though, which helps it keep going. I got 63 points last week, which was a shocking week. I think there was 1 less game and yeah, it just wasn't good for anyone overall, I think. So I did lose a bit of a ranking, well, 13 for the season, but my round ranking was 2,000 as 6,000, considering half of those are dead teams, and that's a shocking result. Let's go into my team now. So I did have a couple of plans for this week. I think I was going to make... Can I use that round boost? Oh, I can. I've already clicked. Oh, yeah. It'll cancel if you don't use it. I wanted to bring back in Arslan. Actually, we'll just go through the points. I don't know why I put Sutton over Paulson. I think I expected Sutton to do something better against Victory than Phoenix against Sydney. I tried the captain's trick as well, where I put... Actually, no, this is from this week. Is there a way to check last week? I feel like I've changed my team since then. No, you can't even click on it. I'm sure you could click on a way of showing your points from last week or how your team's set up. Anyway, this week I'm going to sell, I think, Berenguer to try and get back Arslan. But that's going to require a lot of money, so I am downgrading Tomoki Imai and Josh Rawlings. Now, again, I think there's a couple of doubles this week for the Mariners, City, Perth, and Sydney. So that's why I'm definitely bringing in Arslan. He is one of the best players, and with a double game week. Might not get as much against the Mariners, but should get some against Newcastle, and he should be captain. Again, I'll do that, tonight/tomorrow afternoon. McLaren and German Lolly keeping. I'm going to have a strong midfield, and then I'm just going to have a lot of cheap defenders from now on. I'm just going to go attacking all the way. Let's check the players. Who's winning now? It's Joe Lolly is winning by 55 points against Zach Clough. I'll do it by average. Yeah, Arslan, as I said, he hasn't played as many games through suspension and a couple of injuries. Just behind on average. Same with Torres. Tulio, who's still at the top at one point. I think these players have finally overtaken him. They did because Lolly 11 points last week. In form, we have Docker. Unbelievable now. I still can't believe this guy. And I had a chance to get him when Storm Uru got suspended for that fight. I knew he would start, but I thought he'd only play for 2 or 3 matches. I think he's ended up playing every match since then, except one. So he starts and gets 13 points. Then he does the double game week and gets 33 points. Then half a match against Sydney brings it down to 2, but then gets 14, 15, 22, and 30. Just unbelievable. And he's now probably the most expensive player in the game. Let's have a look. Almost. Pena is just high, but crazy amount of points considering. But he's always been a points getter because look at this game week. He played for 1 minute against the Raw and somehow got 4 points. That's just insane. Then 4 minutes, 11 minutes still got 3 points, 7 minutes got 3 points, 19 minutes got 5 points, 15 minutes got 4 points. That's better than some players who play 90 minutes. 9 minutes, 3 points. Like every single game, he gets 2 or 3 points somehow. Now, it's not a lot, but you expect him to get 0 or 1. And then when he actually plays a full 90, and then it proves he gets huge points. Except for the first 2 matches. He's just getting used to Australian football, coming from, I'm guessing, Brazil. Well, he's Brazilian, but I don't know if he played in a Brazilian league. And I can't believe that. It's just such a high 3-round average. It's crazy. Even 5-round average is up there. It's just unbelievable. Oh, I wish I got him, man. Look how much money it would have given you. 480k and like seriously nearly 100 points. It's been wild. Literally 100 points, I think. So who went up the most this week? Who's hot? Is it still no Garuccio? Oof, 531. Wow, he's gone flying. He would have been down the bottom as well in terms of pricing. Am I not wrong in that? Yeah, 161 around 11. Then gets 18, 12, 15, 13, 6, and 30. Unbelievable. That's just some seriously good forms. What's good about this league, you can pick a guy now who might do that for the next 5 games as well. So I've got to have to look out for the next Docker or Garuccio. Who's down? German, my player, down. Not great. But I'll keep him for the season, so I don't really care for pricing. Unless he gets injured, of course, then you do lose the money. But if you don't plan on trading him out, doesn't matter. As we mentioned, form, well, Arslan, who I'm bringing in, and then a couple of cheaper players to get rid of Imai and Rawlings. Hopefully Tim Payne is back. That would be nice. Should be getting points against Brisbane. That will help. So I'll move on to now the tipping, which will act as a little mini preview for next week. I think I had the auto tips on. What did I get last week? 2 points only. Western United draw got correct, and MacArthur win. So I put on the popular tips just for now in case I forget to do them. Adelaide at home to Western United. Yes, despite the form of Western United, that's tougher than you think. Maybe a draw, but I'll keep it as a Adelaide United win. City at home to Newcastle. Yes. Sydney. Ooh, that's tight. I feel like I'm going to put it as a draw tentatively for now, but it's going to be a great match, that one. Unfortunately, I'm at a wedding that night, so I cannot watch that match. Damn it. Phoenix against Raw at 11 a.m. Something to watch in bed on a lazy Sunday morning. Phoenix win that one by 2. Victory at home to Perth. Victory should be winning that. MacArthur at home to the Wanderers. Yes. Mariners at home to City. Yes. I need an upset this week. I think I'm going to give it to... That's my semi-upset, but I want to upset as well. I always have to pick one upset each week. I'm going to go Sydney to beat the Mariners. That'll be my mini upset for the week. This one, maybe. I'm tempted to do draw. I actually don't really check this form guide. Head-to-head Adelaide. Yeah, I do expect them to be. I'll give it to Adelaide. Yeah. That's it. As I say, we still have 4 or 5 matches left. A couple of catch-up matches. Well, this week we have the double game weeks, but I think next week as well is another one. Rankings for this. So what's a good score? 68 is the highest. What am I on? I'm 304 out of 3,000, but I don't know my exact total tips. Should be saying it somewhere. I think if I check one of these leagues, how do I get into so many random... Oh, this is the leagues. Yeah, I got to do my league, sorry. 68 was the top. Let's check the Reddit league. I'm on 52, okay, well behind, but I'm catching up to the top. Oh, actually, I dropped off one position. Try and win the Reddit league there. I think that's it for tipping and the preview. We should now move on to stateside Victoria. Okay, to the NPL in Victoria. We are up to round 7, so just past the quarter mark of the season, 26 matches in total. Most recent game weeks: St Albans 2, Manningham 1, Melbourne Knights 2, Hume City 5, Green Gully 1, Dandenong Thunder 1, Oakley Cannons 0, South Melbourne 0, Moreland City 1, Dandenong City 2, Port Melbourne 1, Altona Magic 1, and Avondale 0, Heidelberg 0. So let's have a look at the tables. As I said, 7 games in. South Melbourne still undefeated on 17 points. Heidelberg United also undefeated, but they're in 4th place, 13 points. Above them, Hume City, 2nd, 15 points, and Avondale, 14 points. Only one loss for Avondale. That was against Manningham, which was a big surprise. That's the top 4. Oakley Cannon just below them with a game in hand. They've had a couple of pause games, one because of a head injury and one because of a fight in the crowd. I think that was the Dandenong Thunder one, which should be replayed at a later date. At the bottom, Moreland Cities, 7 losses, only 2 goals scored. So not a great start for them. They did just survive last season. Obviously, we'd be hoping to do that again this season, but it looks like it's going to be tougher. The other team expected, I guess, Manningham to go down, but they've got 2 wins already, 6 points, so not bad. Tona Magic's the other team in the relegation zone, only 1 win and 4 points. Let's move on to the VPL 1, also 7 games in. Last results: Brunswick City 2, Langwarrin 2, Bentley Greens 2, Kingston City 0, Eastern Lions 3, Preston Lions 3. North Geelong 0, Northcote City 5, Western United Youth 5, St. Caroline Springs, George Cross, 2, Melbourne Victory Youth 3, Melbourne City Youth 0, and Bulleen Lions 5, Werribee City 1. So at the top of the table, 2 undefeated sides. Victory Youth, 17 points, along with Lang Warren, 15 points. Bulleen and Northcote rounding out the top 4 with 14 and 13 points each. Bentley Greens, they were down. I wouldn't say they're ever going to get relegated, but it was looking scary in the first few matches. But they're back mid-table where they should be pushing for promotion. They're on 10 points. At the bottom, North Geelong also no losses, like Moreland City, 7 losses, 2 goals scored as well, but they've conceded a few more. 0 points. And Eastern Lions also in the relegation zone. They do have a game in hand, so they could bounce out and jump the 2 above them in Werribee City and Melbourne City Youth, and even Caroline Springs. I don't know why I keep getting that name wrong. I keep saying St. George. Preston Lions in 9th. A bit of a surprise. 2 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. Expecting them to be up there. I would have thought Preston and Bentley top teams, to be honest. So disappointing for them, but they are going to the NSD. As I said, they would have liked to have finished first or second and get the official promotion to the NSD, even though they're already in, but they would be expecting to be higher. VPL 2 has begun. I don't think I had started my last podcast. I think literally that night, potentially. Friday, 3 weeks ago. Yes, literally that night. So the most recent results: Box Hill 3, Essendon 3, Pascoe Vale 5, Nunawading 1, Doveton 1, Brunswick Juventus 4, Melbourne Serbia 0, Boroondara 0, Goulburn Valley Suns 0, Altona City 1, and North Sunshine 3, Beau Morris 1. Table: Pascoe Vale on top, 3 wins, early days, so not too much to talk about. I think they only have 22 matches in this league, so still a small percentage done. Three wins, 16 goals scored, so great stuff for Pascoe Vale, averaging 5 goals a match. North Sunshine, Altona City, Melbourne Serbia, Essendon all undefeated very early on. And at the bottom, Doveton and Beau Morris, both winless and, well, all 3 losses. They haven't even drawn either, 0 points each. Let's move on to the Australia Cup 2024 preliminary rounds, especially Victoria, up to, or I think round 3 has just finished. Round 4 is actually starting tonight, even last night, and this long Easter break, there will be matches all over Melbourne and nearby towns and cities. Let's go through some of the results. There are a couple of upsets that I do want to talk about. Some lower tier sides beating some higher tier sides, which is always fun to see, especially in this cup. We had the first one, St Kilda beating Whittlesea United. Now, St Kilda State League 3, Whittlesea State League 1 is an upset, but St Kilda are a stronger side than their league suggests. I'm pretty sure they're up to State League 1 Southeast. Pre-COVID, 2019 maybe, even though up there pretty high. COVID obviously has dismantled their team. They do have a lot of, Irish players. St Kilda Celts, Irish, Scottish, UK, from that area. Maybe COVID decimated their team and they had to go back home, and I'm guessing they're all slowly coming back now because they had pretty much got expelled from the league and started from State League 5 just a few years ago, and now they're already back up to State League 3, successive promotions. I think they did that last time around in their first run, pretty much all successive promotions. Looking to do it again, so in a couple of years I would expect them to be back up to State League 1, so it's sort of an upset, but not really. I almost put them at State League 1 level. But nevertheless, we'll call it an upset. Mill Park of State League 2 beating Collingwood City of State League 1. They beat them 4-1 at home, so a little shock there. A couple of State League 4 sides making it through in all State 4 League side clashes. Obviously, some of them had to make it. But that'll be exciting for the next round when they come up against potentially big sides. Dandenong South beating Old Scotch. 6-5 on penalties after 2-2 match. That's a 2-tier difference there. State League again, State League 3 beating State League 1, and another State League 3 beating State League 1. Sebastopol Vikings against Geelong, 2-1. So a couple of upsets here. There's the big one I think I did mention in the last podcast. East Bentley of State League 5 beating Brandon Park of State League 1, 2-1 away from home. Huge result there. Very big surprise. Riversdale, State League 4 as well, beating Corio. State League 4, Riversdale, beating State League 1 Corio, 4-2 after extra time. Western Eagles, I did mention last time, 7-1 win against Doncaster Rovers. State League 3 beating State League 2, that's insane. And then Doncaster Rovers scored first goal, so crazy turnaround there. Tona East Phoenix, 3-0 against Yarraville Glory. State League 2 beating State League 1. They are a favourite of State League 2 though, so mini upset there. I think that's it from what I can see. We'll skip ahead to the next round just to see some potential upsets. Like I said, I like seeing games where there's a big tier difference, 3 or 4 more. Makes it exciting for an upset, or it could just be a blowout and very boring. But nevertheless, we have St Albans Saints of NPL level playing Geelong Rangers, 4 tiers down, State League 2. So a bit of potential there. We have Heidelberg United, a strong NPL side, playing Sunbury United, State League 3. That's a big gap there. What's even bigger is now Moonee Ponds United, State League 4 at home to Manningham United of NPL level. Weaker NPL side, but still 6-tier difference is huge chance for a cup set. Altona Magic against Sebastopol Vikings, a 5-tier difference, NPL to State League 3. Avondale versus Endeavour is probably the biggest one, because they're a top NPL side at home to State League 4 Endeavour United. I think a team, I saw the highlights in the Football Chaos YouTube highlights. I can't remember who they played against. Apparently a Timorese derby. Teams with a lot of East Timor players or history from East Timor. So let's see if they can pull off probably that have to be one of the biggest upsets in the Australia Cup preliminary round history, especially in Victoria. Essendon Royals VPL 2 against Riversdale State League 4, so a 4-tier difference there. Sky United as well against Dandenong Thunder, NPL side against State League 2. Also some big games. We've got Port Melbourne playing Oakley Cannons, and the Melbourne derby, Knights versus South. So big games as well. Another upset here, Moreland City NPL against State League 4 side Chelsea. That'd be up there as well as an upset. The Avondale one would be even bigger. East Bentley rewarded with that win. They're now the lowest ranked side in Victoria, still the only State League 5 side left. They're playing away to Peninsula Strikers, 3 tiers above them, so State League 2. It's not as big as Brandon Park, but still be a big result if they can do it again. Keep an eye out on that. I think that's it. Obviously a lot of other matches going, but some a lot of teams from the same tiers or 1 or 2 difference, so nothing to talk about until next time when they actually do pull off the upset. We'll see. So they'll be playing this weekend, even tonight or even last night some played, tonight and throughout the long weekend and even midweek. As well as the A-League, there's no NPL or VPL this long Easter break. So look out for that. Get down to a game as well. It'll be very exciting to see some of those upsets. And we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Alright, let's finally wrap things up with back to Asia, intercontinental tournaments, the AFC Champions League and AFC Cup. I think I mentioned the first leg in the last podcast. Second legs have been completed. So we do have our semi-finalists. Ulsan HD, as they're known as, beat Jeonbuk 1-0 at home. was 1-1 in the first leg, so they make it through 2-1 on aggregate there. And Yokohama F Marinos have also won 1-0 against Shandong Taishan of China. They're also through. They won 2-1 away, so that was 3-1 on aggregate. Let's have a look at the draw. Now, I don't follow, as I said, the West region as much, but it is Al Ain versus Al Hilal in their semi-final, and Ulsan HD versus Yokohama F Marinos in that semi-final. So Harry Kuehl's side potentially getting into the final. He hasn't taken control of the whole tournament. He did take off where Muscat left off. Nevertheless, those games will be played in April 17th and the 24th, first and second leg, and then the final will be it's a double leg final, 11th and 18th of May, so still a month or so away, but watch out for that. Let's see if Harry Kuehl can get them into the final. It'd be a tough game. Ulsan are one of the best Korean sides. Actually, don't know who's going to win that. First leg is in Korea, second leg in Japan, so yeah, we'll find out in a couple of weeks. I think Yokohama can get it done, but it's going to be tight. I would not expect it to be more than 1 or 2 goal difference in that. AFC Cup, Central Coast Mariners, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that 4-0 win last time. 0-0 back in India, that's fine. They just had to get the job done and not lose 4-0, which they didn't. In the other match, which we do know a little bit more about since they're sort of in the East/Central, is Abdish Ata, Kyrgyzstan, beating Taichung of Taiwan 3-1 in the second leg. It was 5-0, so that's 8-1 on aggregate, so they destroyed them there. That will be the Mariners' next opponent, Central Coast Mariners versus Abdish Ata of Kyrgyzstan. The other final will be Al Nada and Al Ahed. These matches to be played pretty much the same night as the Champions League. First game is in Kyrgyzstan, 8 p.m. our time. Nice. Maybe that's going to change actually. And then the Mariners take it home. The final's only a single leg somewhere in the west, so that will be advantageous to the Omani and Lebanese side, but Central Coast Mariners have to get the job done first. Should be beating a Kyrgyz team. Their national team has been playing pretty well. Not sure too much about the league, but I'd expect the Mariners to get the job done. Not as easy as the India game, but nevertheless should be getting the job done. So let's hope they can. We can have 2 sort of Aussie representatives in each of finals, 1 manager and 1 team. But we'll find that out over the next few weeks. I'll do a podcast either before or after then, going over that match. So let's hope they can get the job done. That will be it for this edition. We will see you in the next few weeks for, again, more A-League, final rounds of A-League. Again, just updates of local Victorian leagues. There'll be probably another preliminary Australia Cup round, a few more NPL rounds. State League 1 to 5 will begin in a couple of weeks as well. Asian leagues keep on going. Japan and Korea, I have an update then. I think it's been too early. It's only been a few rounds, so nothing to talk about, and an international break this week. And then, as we just mentioned, the Asian intercontinental tournaments would have pretty much their finalists by then. So until then, see you then.